Good evening. You're watching the news on Croatian television. The 5th Eastern Partnership Summit was held in Brussels today. The Eastern Partnership aims to bring Armenia, Azerbaijan, Belarus, Georgia, the Republic of Moldova, and Ukraine closer to the EU. Croatian Prime Minister Andrej Plenković commented on a document adopted at today's summit, which outlines 20 measures designed to strengthen political and economic cooperation over the next 2 years.
They deal with democratic values, the issue of strengthening reforms, first and foremost, the implementation of the association agreement, and serious and significant financial and technical assistance, but also what is referred to as economic management, stronger ties, and the monitoring of internal processes, not only by EU institutions, but also by other financial institutions. For example, we had here today representatives from the European Investment Bank.
The Prime Minister also commented on a recent Croatian intelligence agency report that mentions the possibility of a hybrid media war with regard to the Agrokor case.
Just look at the theme of today's meeting. The main theme of the Eastern Partnership meeting is hybrid media activity, with references to numerous elections and referendums held in Europe. Only naive people could think that Croatia isn't part of that process.
The Parliamentary Committee on the Constitution, Standing Orders and Political System convened today to discuss the future of Parliament's Agrokor Investigative Commission. Committee members from the opposition and the ruling majority reached 2 different conclusions. However, a final vote won't be held until Tuesday due to a lack of quorum.
That the Commission cease with its work on Articles 3 and 4 outlined in the decision to form the Commission, and that it continue with its work with regard to all the other articles from that decision. I propose that we adopt a conclusion on the basis of Article 4, Section 2 from the Law on Investigative Commissions, that the Commission established on October 11, 2017, stopped with its work on November 20, 2017, on the basis of the launching of an official investigation into the Agrokor case.
In Parliament, a vote on the 2018 state budget and other bills was put off until next week. Meanwhile, the opposition SDP demanded that the ratification of the Istanbul Convention on Preventing and Combating Violence Against Women and Domestic Violence be put on next week's agenda.
It is truly hypocritical to speak of ratifying the Istanbul Convention, when from 2013 until today, the SDP didn't take the concrete steps that this government has already taken in this short time. No one within the HDZ bench ever said that the problem of violence against women, children, or violence within the family isn't a problem that doesn't require improved legislative measures.
On the occasion of International Day for the Elimination of Violence Against Women, protesters gathered in front of Parliament today calling on MPs to ratify the Istanbul Convention as soon as possible. Supporters say the convention will protect women from violence, while opponents say it promotes an ideology which claims that gender, race, and sexuality are social constructs.
This is not about gender ideology. This is about very concrete issues, such as money for women's shelters, for SOS hotlines, and for expert help for victims of sexual violence.
No one will stop being a man or a woman after this convention is adopted. That's not what this is about. This is about protecting women's rights, meaning human rights, and stopping violence against women. That is the only reason for signing this convention.
At a press conference today, Most presented 2 so-called organizational laws, the law on courts and the law on the National Judicial Council. They say the legislation would make judges and courts more responsible, transparent, efficient, and ultimately more just.
The facts are compelling, and I think that every Croatian citizen could provide a diagnosis of the Croatian judiciary, that it suffers from sluggishness, a lack of expertise, and suspicion of corruption.
A tender for energy retrofitting public buildings has been opened. Applications for some €51 million in non-refundable EU grants can be submitted from January 2, 2018 until the end of 2020. The EU will cover between 35 and 60% of the cost of retrofitting.
In question is an energy savings of more than 50%. Not only will the building look nicer and be more functional, but the investors themselves will have lower energy bills.
A contingent of 182 Croatian soldiers shipped out to Lithuania today, where they will serve in a German-led NATO mission aimed at strengthening Europe's defenses along its eastern border.
In this mission, no one knows when something could happen or what could happen. You must be very aware that at any time there could be a state of cyber, electronic, hybrid, or some other form of war. I'm convinced that all of you in this contingent are ready to complete the task ahead of you and to meet the goals set before you in line with existing regulations. Let the security of your colleagues and each one of you individually be your primary goal. In your actions, you will have the full support of the Ministry of Defense and me personally.
President Kolinda Grabar-Kitarović opened the 23rd Forum on Croatian Minorities in Zagreb today. The event was organized by the Croatian Heritage Foundation and was attended by Croatian minority associations from Italy, Serbia, Slovenia, Hungary, Austria, and Slovakia.
Croatia has not forgotten about you, but we definitely can and must do even more. Now that we are a sovereign and modern country, we have to act accordingly in terms of protecting the identity and interests of Croatians living beyond Croatia's borders.
In all of our contacts with institutions in the countries where you live, we always discuss key issues for minorities, from political representation and education in one's native language to information and, of course, culture.
Taking a quick look at sports, in the fifth round of play in Group D of the Europa League competition, Rijeka played AEK Athens to a 2-2 draw in Greece last night. With the tie, Rijeka has been eliminated from the next stage of the competition. Rijeka's last game of the tournament will be played at home against Milan on December 7th. And now the forecast for tomorrow. Cloud cover will move in gradually from the west, with rain starting on the northern Adriatic and spreading to the rest of the country by nightfall. The east of the country will see some morning fog. There will be a moderate to strong southeasterly on the coast. Morning lows of 2 to 7 degrees Celsius inland, 8 to 13 on the Adriatic, will give way to highs of 12 to 17 degrees. The 3-day forecast for the interior calls for heavy but passing rains and colder temperatures on Sunday. Snow and sleet at higher elevations, with a chance of some sleet in northwestern parts of the interior. There will be a moderate to strong northerly and northeasterly wind. Winds and rain will begin to die down on Monday, with skies clearing from the west. Expect colder temperatures. Sunny and even colder on Tuesday. The coast will see rain on Sunday, downpours and thunderstorms in Dalmatia. Winds will shift from a moderate to strong southeasterly and southwesterly to a strong to gale-forced northeasterly. Expect colder temperatures. Predominantly sunny and cold on Monday and Tuesday as winds begin to die down. And that wraps up the news. Be sure to join us again tomorrow night.